Hello everyone and welcome back to StoneHearth and to the town of Aavakeen. Now, we're going to address the elephant in the room, the first thing in this episode, and that is, yes, my voice is probably a little bit different to usual, and I may or may not be a little bit lower energy than usual. I will try my best not to be, though. But I am indeed sick. Thank you ever so much to all of the well wishes that I've been receiving over on the community tab. This also gives me an opportunity to highlight the existence of the community tab for those who aren't aware that it's there. If you look on my YouTube page, you will be able to find a little tab along with videos and playlists, which is the community tab, and it's where I can post things like stream notifications a few hours before I'm going to go live, or if I'm going to be away or I'm sick and there's some predictable reason why I'm not going to be uploading as often as usual, as was the case here, or even if there's a frequently asked question that I can address. That is the first place to check. But again, thank you ever so much to everyone who has been sending me get well wishes. I am actually feeling a lot better, though I might not sound it. I'm fairly certain I am on the other side of this chest infection, throat infection, whatever it is. It's in my chest now, not so much in my throat, which is why I'm recording. It doesn't hurt to breathe or talk, which is grand. I am a little bit shorter of breath though, so again, probably a little bit lower energy than usual, but all is well. I am on the mend. Right, in today's episode, well, I've got a few things that I'd like to do. While I have not been uploading videos, it is not to say I have not been thinking about the videos that I would like to upload, and I've got a few things that we're going to be working on in today's episode. Quite a few of them, but they're going to take a little bit of work to get to, so how about we start with that, shall we? I would very much like to dig this area down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place down a ladder right there. Now, the reason for this ladder initially is just so that I can start, well, actually, you know what? Let me change my mind there. I apologize for that. What I would like to do is get rid of all of this. So let's start with that, because I would like to build up against this wall. I've got some plans for this area. We are going to, of course, continue work on my the wall over yonder, but I am very, very much aware that my halflings have not all got bedrooms, and this does not a happy Aavak make. So, or happy halflings, I imagine. Let's try and address that, shall we? I think that would probably be grand. I'm going to go ahead and tell them to mine 5 layers deep. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because a halfling can reach every block within 5 tiles of it, or at least height-wise, because a halfling is more than 1 block tall, obviously. So I think it's more like they can reach 2 blocks around them, effectively. So by putting this there, my halflings, even if they did the most ridiculous path possible and just mined down to here, they'd still be able to mine back all of the roof. If I decided to take it all down in one go, odds are they would actually just mine a weird path, and then I'd have to go through all kinds of shenanigans to try and get up to the top. See what I'm talking about? Why did you do this? You scallywag, you. Nevertheless, that is why I tend to build in that way. Now, my halflings are generally out and about grabbing things, and I'm quite happy with that. Overall, I imagine that Olgo is probably up on one of these plateaus, and that's why we haven't heard from Olgo yet. There is a reasonable chance that Olgo and the mountain have all spawned up here somewhere. I'm not sure that we would see it. I'm not sure that like goblin camps, that it would alert us to their presence, that it would actually highlight it in the fog of war. I think we'd have to just wander around and have a look. Forgive me if I'm not going to go out of my way to poke the bear. We're going to wait. I won't wait forever, obviously, because we do want progress. And as far as I'm aware, we do need to address Olgo and the mountain for the storyline to continue. There is a story in this game. It's not just a straight colony manager like Gnomoria, where there is no win condition, there's just a set of lose conditions. This one does definitely have a win condition. This has an end to the story. If you want to, oh look, It's starting to bloom. Oh, that's actually wonderful. I love it. I love it when the desert blooms. The deserts are actually some of the most colourful places when it actually rains. Because it's like the desert spends most of the year just waiting, just building up, planning how beautiful it's going to be when it can finally be beautiful. And when the moment comes, it just literally just explodes with colour. It's actually, maybe it's the contrast, I'm not sure. But I've always found when like watching documentaries and things like that, deserts during the rainy seasons are just absolutely gorgeous. Nevertheless, we've got everyone just popping around, doing odds and sods. Now, I'm reasonably happy with our army, as is. 2 melee DPS, 1 tank, 2 healers, ideally. Promise Mac is having a hard time reaching the level 6, and that's because Promise Mac has already gotten level 6 in Cleric. Every level you get makes every other level harder to achieve. But with combat skills, they rise very quickly because you get a lot of combat experience for anything that gives it. Typically, the sort of fights you're having will just shower experience on you, and that's why we've seen our military level up so quickly. There's more group from Macquarie, right? With stone to sell. Well, that's marvellous. Chunk of brown coal. I'll take all of that. I could take the lime. I don't think I'll take the lime. So I will, however, take all of your copper. Do I have anything I want to sell you? I do apologize if I have to clear my throat. I will try to edit any coughs out, but I can almost promise you I will forget to edit out the majority of me just clearing my throat, because that's going to be, it's almost instinctive at this point. I'm doing it all the time. So, in advance, I do genuinely apologize. Oh, wait. Is that how this works? It's a tree nursery. That's actually incredibly cool. So we've got a tree nursery over there. So I imagine then we can plant, do we just... That is fantastic. Oh, I really like that. I was wondering why the trees are so densely packed. It's like, well, that's not going to make any sense when they actually start to grow. Is it a case of first come, first served? But no, it is not. Right, we've got an enhanced blacksmith's furnace as well. Oh, that's quite swish. Very well. We're going to take down this furnace. Up you go. Yoink. And then we'll place down the enhanced one, and then we can start doing all sorts of really cool stuff. We've got many things that we're working on. That one has still got to move. When it'll be moved, I have no idea. Someday, eventually, maybe. I could try and help by putting that there. That might actually help. Sometimes the halflings are, well, in a word, derpy. Right, oh my lord, that is humongous. Let's just make sure that it is facing somewhat of a good direction. It looks cool though. Is that going to pop out through the floor? No. We're lucky. Well done, Trapper level 6. Trap expertise. The Trapper can now use metal clamp traps to capture big game, and also has a thing or two to teach the engineer about setting traps, increasing the town trap limit by 6. Well, we don't have an engineer yet, but that isn't to say we're not going to. In fact, we will. But first, let's go ahead and get all of this fiber. I would like to add down a big game area. Now, the thing with big game is that, well, it's a big game. And that could include bears. So, word to the wise. Be prepared for large things. Bears and wolves to start spawning around your game area. Because they're like, oh, well, that's great. There's deers there. I eat deers, so this is where I should live. Or, also, there's halflings there. I eat halflings too. Oh, how fortuitous. Alas. Well, I mean, to be fair, with our military, that really would not play out as well as the bear might hope, but it would probably get a couple of juicy chomps in before my knights got over there. Still, they would pay the ultimate price, so, I can't begrudge them a good, solid chomp here and there. They are going to pay for it with their lives, so, it seems reasonable, I guess, when you think of it like that. Alright, let's get another ladder over here, and then we're going to remove this one, and then have all of this be dug down. So let's get all of that going. So, no, that's wrong. Need the proper tool here. Really? That looks like it should be working for me, but it is not. There we go. Excellent. A minimum of complaints from me. There we go. And finally this one as well. And we'll just allow them to... Ooh, that did not work correctly. There we are. We'll just allow them to get that one down. Again, I want to remove this before we start building over here. Now, my plans then, since it's probably wise to start putting them in there. We're going to build a proper mine entrance, a doorway, some lights, some wonderful things. We need more beds. Not only have I heard the comments, or well, you know, read the comments loud and read the comments clearly. I heard you all loud and clear is what I'm trying to express. I already really was starting to feel bad because we've grown our population a lot and we have not grown our beds much at all. There are several people without anywhere to sleep. They just kind of sleep on the floor, which isn't exactly ideal now, is it? Do we have any beds that I can put down for that? I might not. No. Okay. Well, what we'll do then is we'll just get some beds down. We'll just have a few made. Let's go ahead and get a couple of beds made. We'll go ahead and place down an order for 4 thatch beds. I think that's reasonable. That being said, Zangiri is rather good. Rather good, I must say, at making fancy stuff. What we lack is a bundle of wool. Alright, what of our potter? Does our potter need wool? No, our potter needs down. That's even harder to get. What about our mason? Can our mason make fancy beds? Mason needs wool as well. Damn it. Well, we're going to need a sheep farm at some point. But I suppose one thing we can do while we're waiting is to continue laying down the foundations over here. Now, I'm wondering about this. Will this prove to be a bit of an issue for our builders, I wonder? I'm a little bit concerned about that one. But we can see. Okay, well, let's try and place down a building. We're going to want a new building, because otherwise we're building on the town hall, and that is absolutely not what we want to do. I would like a template. And for now, we could use the desert wall cap. But in this particular instance... well... no, I would say that it makes more sense for us to have the building as is and just fill in that wall section. So, we're going to grab the desert wall city entrance. We're going to place it over here. Can I place that down? No, I can't. Not while that is there. Alright, that's a bit of a problem for me then. What I could do, however, is we'll lift that up, we'll dig this square down, and then we'll sink a pillar in there. And that should, by the same method, prevent any access through this location. Hopefully that will work. I'll need to get that job done first, though. But whilst I'm getting everything else dug down, we can at least start work on that. At this point, we don't need this ladder, and I can just safely remove everything that remains all in one go. In fact, at this stage, I can go for a full 4 tiles down and just draw that right out. There we go. Nice and easy. Perfect. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and set up a couple of wall sections over here. Might even set up a complete mirror of this. And I'm just going to allow my halfling to do a little bit of hauling, and I will bring you back when we're ready to start building the houses. Oh dear, here we go. We've got some invaders on the way, and also a small quarry. Right, okay, well, so far we have made some progress on building out my my wall over here, but as a result there is a significant gap in our defenses. We've had to build a couple of ways into the water, as I elected, instead of putting a barrier there, just to dig it too deep so things couldn't climb out. But that does mean that while we're building things, they can, unfortunately. Right, well, let's get our entire group together. We're going to want you all over here, ideally. Let's get everyone down there, if you could get on your way. I've also gone ahead and set up a bit of a stockpile over here, just so we can start pulling things in a little bit faster. We should be seeing some nice large game coming in there. Now, I'm a little bit concerned that they're going to make a beeline straight for this and then straight down into our waterway there, which is going to be a problem for us. If we can, I would prefer to start doing damage. Go ahead and engage them if you would be so kind. It seems that their archers have gotten a little bit distracted. That's fine. In fact, that's actually good. But the issue over here is that a lot of their fighters have just gone straight through. Alright, well, time for me to summon everyone back. My archers definitely shouldn't be face tanking this. Jin, let's get you back over there. I'm going to have to micromanage them a little bit here and there, unfortunately. Jin, if you would engage from afar, that would be grand. Yes, that's a lot better. And their archers are a little bit behind the group now. They don't have clear line of sight either, so they're having a bit of a rough time. In fact, it looks like their fighters are terrified. They're terrified of our very courageous knight there. I approve. I approve greatly. I would like it if my swordsman wouldn't keep running away, though. That would be extra amazing. Yeah, you know... Oh, wait. Yeah. That was my bad. My bad. Everyone was doing so well without even having been told to do it. Only I kind of had told them. Nevertheless, my fault there. If this is how we die, yeah. Except that my bad, everyone. My bad. Oopsie. Big oopsie there. Sorry. Yeah. A bit of a scoundrel there. But thankfully, our knight actually was holding their own pretty bloody well. Let's get those heals in, please. Lots of those heals in, please. We should probably go for the archers, frankly. But for now, if we can just keep this up, we should be okay. We've almost got you down. You're gonna probably fall. Our cleric is completely focused. Though, again, our knight is just terrifying the orcs. I wonder if that is one of the benefits of the knights, is that they're so courageous, so heroic, that mere presence drives off goblin invaders. I approve enormously. Well done, considering there was a massive derp on my part. Our group is held together fairly well, honestly. I mean, you know, they've certainly got a couple of scratches to show for my incompetence, but all things said and done, that's still better than having a couple of corpses to show for it. You know, they've got to look on the bright side. We are making very swift progress on putting up the rest of this wall as well, which I'm very, very pleased with. But yes, that was a little bit on the scary side. I am, however, as it happens, working on building you some truly, truly glorious knightly gear that I will show you in just a moment. Now that you're all done there with your jobs, let me set you back to just randomly wandering. There we go. Or rather, randomly wandering. No, that's exactly what I don't want you to do. I want you to go back to hauling. Ah, look at that. Such a beautiful, gentle glow there. Ah, I really, really do like the way that this is all turning out. Ah, everyone's just chatting in the rain. I can completely gel with that. I'm a bit of a pluviophile myself. Right, okay, well, let's have a quick look. A group from the small quarry have arrived. I don't need any of this, realistically. I mean, I'll take a coal, I guess, but that's it. Bit of peat. Organic residue found in bogs and moors can be used as a lower grade fuel. Do I need it? No. Am I going to buy it? Yeah, I suppose so. But we've just made a silver gilded cuirass. Now, you are level 4. I believe that can only be worn by a level 5. Let me double check. Let me have a look at this. Is this for level? Yes. That is waiting for you. It's just waiting. Waiting patiently for your moment there. Steel lamella armor. That's defensive 7. What is this? It's defensive 10. 10. Count it. 10. Silver desert helm. That's a defensive 7. Steel desert helm. Honestly, the silver is just so much better, but we're going to need a higher level blacksmith for that one. The silver shield is better than the best steel we can make, honestly. But then we're going to be looking at level 6 for those. How about we go ahead, use the best ingredients we've got and make that as soon as we can. Can I make any more silver? No, unfortunately I can't. But, you know, we're just going to have to wait on that one. Now, there are other items as well. Let's have a quick look at you, Big Al. What are you currently equipped with? I know you're going sword and board, and you're about to get a shield upgrade because you are suitably high level for that. You've got a steel short sword, which is attack of 16. Your iron desert shield is going to get at... Oh, wait. That is not as good. Why? Why are we going for this, then? Class and level requirement. Oh, that's for footman. Right. Okay, well, that's fine. Steel Desert Shield would be what we would need for Big Al. Nevertheless, I will pop that down. Sure, go ahead and grab that. I'm going to take this off for the time being then. Simply because I would rather that Big Al get the best equipment for now. Because Big Al is soaking most of the hits. But in terms of weapon, it was 16. Let's have a quick gander here. Now, that would be lovely, but, you know, it's actually not that much of an improvement. And it's a higher level. The Steel Desert Mace, though, very nice, and inflicts a fracture. What kind of weapon was it the Big Al had? Was it a steel short sword? Does that have any particular abilities, I wonder? Let's have a look. It doesn't look like we can make short swords ourselves. That's not a equipment that we would typically have, but I imagine it's probably similar to the scimitar. So we can assume that that's probably not going to be a very damaging in terms of status effects weapon. But we're going for fracture, armor reduced due to the shattering damage. And if you go for a trident, you'd have inflict shaken. Courage is reduced, more likely to despair and run away. This would be glorious, but we would be dropping our shield. And I'm not inclined to do that for now. Also, everyone, you can go back to... I'm so sorry. I'm such a turd. There we... Shh, it's fine. The leader is sick. Give him a break. His brain is barely working as it is. Right, but this is going to be a bit of an issue for us until we got this fixed. And then it won't be a problem at all. We could take it away. We could even put a post down here just to make sure things don't crawl up through this channel. Do I really want to? No, I think I like having it free as is. But we're going to have to let things move on for a little bit. I am getting very, very hopeful that Zangiri will reach level 5 Carpenter soon because we really need a Shepherd's Crook. I desperately want wool and feathers. Feathers more than the wool, honestly. I want flame or spike arrows so that we can slow down our enemies and just straight up set them on fire. I can only imagine that is going to have a remarkably dramatic effect on anyone's desire to stay in the fight. But with that said and done, I think it's finally time for us to get down to some building, don't you? I think so. I think it is. So let's do that, shall we? Let's start a new building. This is going to be Workers' Cottage. Workers' Hut. I don't want to say hovel because it's going to look quite nice. Workers' Hut. Yeah, we'll go with Workers' Hut. Right. Okay. So no. Click off that. There we go. Right. Well, first and foremost, we're going to start with a room. A simple room. We're going to want column. Sure, we'll go with raffia. Oh, sorry, no, that's the floor. We want the floor to be muesli and sandal. And that being said, I could go for more of a Congo brown, dark Congo brown and cork pattern. You know what? I think we will. On the lower floor, we're definitely going to do that. The column, raffia, the wall, good. Right, now, I am going to set this in by a little bit. And the reason for that is I believe that rooms can't easily be drawn on top of rooms. Now, how big are we going to want this? Well, first things first, let's sink it down. There we go. Now, I'm going to want probably... We're going to have several people in these rooms. And I believe the beds are 3 by 5. So, I would give them a little bit of walkway over there. It's not quite enough, though. I would like it to be larger, if we could make it larger. So, let's make it that little bit larger. But that would give us the 3 by 3 and a bit of a gap. But I want that gap to be fairly big. So, at least 5. So, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I may just pop down some furnishings just so that I can place the shape here. These are very temporary, just so I can mark out the borders. What? I clicked on the clay. Never mind. It's fine. It's all okay. Right, what we want is a door around here. So I'm just going to pencil that in, if you like. What kind of door do we want? I want a nice one. Let's go with a green clay door, shall we? Something pretty. Just like that. I think it'll be lovely. Okay, right. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flesh out the shape of the room. And then I'll bring you back for some detailing once I've kind of measured out the shape that I want. Okay, there we go. So I've got, it's a fairly large room, and you'll see why in a little bit. Now, we are going to only have 4 beds then. You'll notice I've got double thick walls along the edges. Now, I'm a little bit concerned that may, in fact, lead us astray a little bit. So we're going to have to hope that it does not, because there's not a lot that I'm going to be able to do if it does. However, as you can probably already guess, this is the reason why. I want to have a kind of an inset shape inside. Now, I could have put this on the outside, but I actually like the idea of it being on the inside this time. Rather than decorating the outside of the building, we're going to be focusing on decorating the inside of this particular building. So there we go. We've got some nice arches on the inside. In fact, we could, if we really wanted to, go even further and add some extra walls on the outside as well. I haven't considered that as an option, but it is one. And it's kind of a nice one, actually. I'm thinking we may, in fact, go for that. There we go. We've got a nice archer there as well now. And we're just going to have that design repeated just over here. Now, as for this part, should we go for similar? Yeah, I don't see much of a reason to break the pattern. So there we go. So we've got some nice little pillars inside, and as a result, we can sink the bed a bit further back. We're not going to be using these beds for the time being. They can go. I just wanted something to be able to measure out the shape of the room. I will place the furnishings in separately. I find that, generally speaking, that's a little bit better for the overall design, is to do that. But we've got our arches there. If we wanted to put similar arches on the outside, we could do it, but it would be a little bit more of a potch. So I'm going to wait on that one until we've got the door in place, at the very least. Now, where is that door? That door is right about here. There we are. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. There we go. I'm going to want to have a nice big old area there. Now, this arch is going to be a bit different to the external ones. And there's a bit of a reason for that one. We're going to... Well, should I really have that? Yeah, I think so, because there's going to be a floor on the top, and that will change the shape up there. So I don't think I need to worry too much. This is only partially the lower floor, in a sense. Now, the design that I would like to go for here is, I've been trying to think a little bit more about windows, and unfortunately, I believe the sun rises that direction, sets in that direction. And I have taken on board some of the comments that were made, and that is that, generally speaking, you'd probably put your windows so they weren't getting direct sunlight, because that would heat up the interior of the room and not do too much for venting out the heat, so you'd want it on the sides of the house. But in this case, we are going to have these in there, because there's going to be a bit of a balcony over the top, so it's only the very, very early morning sun that's going to be affecting it. And I would like a couple of these if we can get them. It's a little bit of an odd shape there, which is a bit of a problem for us, but I'm sure we can make it work. Do we have any long windows? Don't think we do. We've got some long wooden windows, but that's all we have. Well, how about then we move these across instead? There we go. And this one similarly. I like these particular windows because they seem the sort that would be very useful for venting heat, if you ask me. Just grab those in there and there. There we are. Lovely. So they're reasonably high up. They're not for looking out. They're for dealing with the heat of the room. And as a result, I guess we're not having an archway on this wall in particular, though we could still add a little bit of something if I really wanted to, and I guess I do. Sure, let's go ahead and add this in there, just so that there's an internal aperture, let's say, something along those lines. Actually, let's dial that back. I think I flubbed the archway design a bit. Okay. Let's have something like this. There we go. That looks nice, I think. There we are. So we've got our way in. Now then, so the beds will be around here. We'll probably have some other furnishings as well, but this is not the be-all and end-all of this structure. No. We're going to have quite a lot more to it. But there's a specific reason why that. We're going to have a second story. I'm not going to spend all this time building houses and only build 4 beds. Come on now. That's just crazy talk. However, where is the thing that I want? Is it going to be in here? I'm not seeing it. What we want is a lamp of sorts. I would have thought that would have come under furniture, but it doesn't look like. There we go. A fire pit. I would like a fire pit in this room specifically. Now, I know it's already pretty warm, but I think this will be quite nice. This will be the way that the people in here will keep themselves warm of an evening. We'll have that fire pit there, and that is definitely going to be going there. And because we kind of know we could put down some lamps, but that's the only thing I want to place for certain. The rest we can do a little differently. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint this a bit of a different color as well. We want something of a darker color around the fire pit, I think, and then we'll have something like this, just so that it's a little bit more obvious that this is different from the rest of the floor. It is a tile, but it's a slightly different tile, and just to make it look a little bit nicer, we'll just add in a little bit of dappling there, just so it's not a uniform color. Right, there we go. I quite like that. I quite like that a lot. Now, the next step for us is to build out the sides. Now, we've considered possibly adding in some extra archways around there. I'm not entirely sold on that idea just yet. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna pretend as if we're not going to do it for now. What I would like is a very, very simple archway, just moving across here. And the reason for this will become a bit more clear shortly, I hope. I think I might... no, that was not what I meant to do. I want to make it a little bit wider just so that we've got some room to play. Something along these lines would be fine. It doesn't look like much of an archway right now. I appreciate... Actually, no. I think we will, in fact, have it a bit more like that. There we are. And we're going to do the same just along here as well. We're just going to create the supports for a second level, which is actually going to overhang over here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this down, and I'm going to start work on building the second level, and I'll bring you back when we're ready to start looking at the details of the second level of this building. Okay, there we go. Now, as you can see, I've placed down stairs. It actually took me a little bit longer to build than I was expecting, because I had to faff around with trying to get this floor there, which isn't actually part of the stairs. In the end, just as a bit of a peek into how I did it, I ended up just putting 4 blocks here. And actually, this reminds me, those should really be considered roofs, in my opinion. Is there any way I can kind of wiggle my camera up there a little bit, or am I going to have to... I'm just going to have to get rid of the floor. Well, drat. Nevertheless, it does give me, as I was saying, an opportunity to show why I have to set these up. I want these to be roofs so that when I drop the oh, what happened there? Oh, well, that is unfortunate. Okay, well, just to show... I'm glad I brought you back. I genuinely am, as that offers me a bit of an opportunity to show one of the problems here. This is all considered the same floor. So when I deleted that floor, it deleted every other part of the floor, which was, of course, not what I wanted in the slightest. So I hope that doesn't mess with the game, that I basically just removed an entire object with a hole. I made the hole the entirety of the object, but hopefully that will be fine. I have to do a little bit of work to get us back to the right place. But again, I just put down some blocks. I want them to be considered roofs, though, for the sake of when I use the slice mode like that. Those blocks will generally disappear. And should I use slice rather and pull that down, they should go. And with the lowest type of building vision, they're also gone. The blocks over here, not quite as much, but they were the only ways that I could make the archways look right. But as you can see, this is why I wasn't too worried about having these windows facing the direction of sunrise, is they should have plenty of shade through the day. Now, let's get back to adding in this beautiful big old room here. This is going to be a fairly big part of this build. Now, we're going to have to be a little bit more scarce with the detailing, maybe. We'll have a look. I mean, you know, it is me, and I do take detailing very, 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 very seriously. Still, we might need to adjust that a little bit. Now, we will be having a door up here, and I'm thinking we're going to go with a blue door at the top here. We'll pop that little blue door right there. There we are. Now, this blue door does not have a nice surround, which is a bit of a problem, if you ask me, and that might be something that we could address. Let's consider how we could do that neatly. We could have a wall here, and we could just have a very, very understated surround, I guess. We could just even do something like this. Just a basic... did I just lose something? What did I just delete? Is that gone? Alright, let me bring that back. It looks like I may have been a little bit overzealous with my removal tool there. Let's try that again. And just bring that up. There we go, that's what we needed. Perfect. But yes, we don't always have to have them as archways and pretty ornate. In fact, there's something, I don't know, quaint. It's something fitting about just being a square door there. Yeah, I think we're going to keep that one. Alright, now, in here, unfortunately, the floor is a little bit messed up there. I really would like this to be something else. In fact, the issue here is that this floor exists, and I've already placed a floor down. We may have to get rid of that room entirely and build it out of wall sections instead. That isn't in and of itself the worst thing in the world, though. Let's just go ahead and do it this way. From what I've seen so far, the game doesn't really care how you construct rooms, because it works out what a room is procedurally rather than based on it being a room type object. There are probably some exceptions to that rule, though. Now, the big part of this build, and something that some of you probably already guessed, is that I would very, very much like to have this fire pit exposed to the room above. I think that is going to be absolutely wonderful. We'll dial that back just a little bit, though, so that we still got the archway in there. How many tiles is this? There's one tile there. We probably want this floor coming out a little bit further, but I'm actually okay with having that floor. No, let's grab it from there. Let's do it about this. So it'll be a straight up just hole in the floor. We will, of course, be having a fence around this. I don't want any of our people falling down into the fire pit down below. That would be a horrible, horrible thing to let happen. Knowingly. I mean, it'd be a funny thing to see, but it would be a horrible thing to allow to happen knowingly. In fact, let's go ahead and do something a little bit different here. Let's go with amber. We'll actually have this be a completely separate color there, just to really highlight. Don't walk here. You're dumb. You'll die. Well, maybe. You probably won't. Not from that fall. It might not be very good if there's a fire lit down below, though. I can't promise that you'll be particularly happy with the results of that. There we go. We could, if we really wanted to have a little gate there, we're not going to. I'm not going to give them the option of jumping down there. It's like, well, you know, I've done my duty in letting you know that the hole is there. If you decide to willingly throw yourselves down it, well, who am I to stop you? No, we're not going to be going in that direction. That's a particularly dark direction to go in. But what we will do is we will have this little gap there. I'm not going to put a gap over here, and that is intentional. I think this is enough of safety. I kind of like the idea that someone could sit there and just dangle their legs down. You know, you're taking you are accepting the responsibility of your actions. At that point, I feel I'm not going to be the one blamed for what might happen there. Right. So, in terms of beds, I would like the beds in here. If I can just find a bed. That will... No, actually, I'm not sure if that is the full shape, but this will do. We're going to have the beds on this side up here. They are only going to be another 4, so in total this building is going to house 8 people, but those 8 people... this is going to be a grand place. I'm hopeful that they will really, really enjoy this place. You know, I'm putting a lot of effort into it. It would be nice if they appreciated it. I'm thinking maybe we could get away with having this be more of a white color. Yeah, I think that does actually work. I wasn't sure it would, but I think it does. Especially if we then have another wall inside. If we go for a double thick wall here and place down the archways in there as well. I think that really does stand a good chance of being bloody gorgeous. Yeah, I'm liking it. I am definitely liking this. We may make this archway just a little bit wider though. Something like that. So then that... I prefer the archways not to be quite so... quite have such a linear peak in them. If that makes any sense at all. I prefer the peak to kind of have a slightly different angle. So it's more of a slope, effectively. Like that. We'll have to see what we can do there though. As we are playing with a very small amount of room to create a very specific effect. That said, however, we could go ahead and... Is there enough room? There is, technically speaking. I'm going to get rid of that wall because it's going to be a lot easier for me to just put that wall back down. And again, it doesn't seem to cause an issue for the game if you do that. Ooh. Now then, that looks gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm liking that a lot. Little archways in there. We could even have candles. Ah, I'm liking this. I really, really am. I would like to change the paint there, though. Is that the same paint? Oh, it is. It's probably just a bit of the angle of light there. Let's just add in a little bit of different color, though, here and there, just to make it a bit better. There we are. That looks a little bit better to me. Now, as I mentioned, these will be here. As for the back wall, I could have little windows back there. And I'd be fine with putting those windows in right now, actually. In fact, we could do something that I've been thinking about doing for a little while. And that is combining these window types. Something like this. That actually works quite nicely, I think. There we are. So we've got a little bit of a vent right at the back there. Just to let some of the heat out. And, you know, people can peer in from if they manage to get up the top there. Yes, I think that works really, really quite well. Now, up top, as we have this nice big old flat surface, it would be kind of silly if we didn't make use of it now, wouldn't it? So, instead of just leaving it be there, we are going to go ahead... do I want every coloured door? I think that would be a little bit too much. So we're going to have another green door up here. There we go. That should do quite nicely there. And with that, I think we are pretty solid. I'm not going to have windows at the top here. There's no protection. There's nothing to shade them. And the light would be streaming in. And depending on the angle, streaming right on top of people who are trying to sleep. And that's just never going to be very fun for them now, is it? No. Now, so you've got the general idea of the room shape. But there's still more plans that I have. I've been sick for a while, and I've had a lot of downtime to think about the buildings that I want to make. So, you know, something nice has come out of my past few days' misery, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these beds and just add in the archways and the other details, and I'll bring you back for the next step of this build. And welcome back. Right now, we are putting the finishing touches onto the side roofs. Yes, you heard me correctly. Side roofs. Now, I played around with the roofs for a little bit to try and make them work with the archways. Obviously, because we've got double thick walls in places. If I have this flush with the outside wall, the inside looks a little bit off. But over time, I actually grew quite fond of the effect of having this kind of, with the wooden beams almost perched on the walls themselves, in a way. And I think that effect is not particularly bad, honestly, though it perhaps could do with a little bit of an improvement over there. We'll see what we can do with that. I might even add in some sort of like fabric, kind of like tarp or something over these little areas. In fact, that might not be a bad idea to try and address this particular problem. But again, back to the side roofs part of what I just said. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to have a bit of it's not a bell tower. There is no bell in it, but it is a tower of sorts. We could even have this one a little bit larger than the other. In fact, I kind of like that idea quite a lot, I must confess. I wasn't expecting to, though. Alright, well, I'm down with that. There we go. We can have this come out all the way. It doesn't really matter too much, but there's a little bit of a lip there. And as you can see inside here, I have got little supports there. Honestly, I think I would rather have this tower stretch to the sides completely and run right up against these roofs. I think that would create a very, very nice transition there. So let's grab this wall and just yoink it out to the side, and this wall, and yoink that one out to the side. As much as this game does have some clunky design choices when it comes to the building, sometimes it just works. It genuinely just does. There we go. That looks wonderful. In fact, I'm going to have this wall drawn back as well. And for the same, to kind of match the front, we'll allow that lip to exist there. That looks perfect, in my humble opinion. Which isn't very humble, I must confess. Right, now up the top here, we want more windows. Though this is going to be where we're venting out a lot of the heat from this particular build. So I think it's fair to have lots of these windows along the sides over here now. I have no idea how my halflings are going to build this. I haven't even got the Scooby if they're going to be able to do it because of the way I've got it butted up against the wall. We may have a very similar problem. Oh, where did that one go? Oh, that is not where I want you to be. We want you to be over there. They may have a very similar problem from having a double thick wall at the side there. Something I might need to address. Ooh, that's worrisome. They've messed themselves up there with the scaffold. I can almost certainly fix that by putting down a specific ladder myself, though. But here, it's a little bit more problematic. Let's go ahead and add in some little arches there. I think this will look lovely. Though this is going to let in a lot of sunlight, thinking about it. Maybe those arches should have been on the sides instead. Still, I kind of like it. In fact, I like it so much, we're actually going to draw this wall back and drop these arches in there. Maybe I could do with just one big arch. Oh, actually, wait. What we can do here, instead of having these arches specifically, I will draw this wall back because I've just realized what I can do on that side. Well, no. I prefer symmetry, but we can have these taller windows, and I think that will work out quite well. Maybe bring them a little bit closer together so they're not so spread apart. There we go. Yeah, that looks quite nice, I think. Quite nice. And we'll do the same over on this side. We want it too high. There we go. There we are. So plenty of heat can leave the building through these through this roof section. It isn't there to be functional in any further way for the halflings. It's there to look good. That is all it's there to do. I mean, functional in the game sense. It is there to be functional in the arena of the mind sense, because this is where all the heat that builds up inside this massive building is going to escape from. And likewise on this side. Oh, though this, I imagine, could cause us some problems. Some quite dire problems, in fact, over on this side. If I'm having multi-storied walls building on several levels. I am not at all going to be surprised if this build fails when I try to make it. But I will then spend the next several hours trying to fix it. Off camera, of course. But I wanted you to be here to see what I'm doing. At the very least. I know several of you really do enjoy getting to see the way I put these builds together and what I imagine. But I think this is going to be a perfect little worker building. Lots of beds, and also places where you can have little market stalls on benches, flower pots, some chests, just things that make it look lived in. Likewise down here, there's a perfect little storage area there. I like it a lot. I like it an awful lot. And the final roof is actually going to be a nice little roof like this, just up on top. Are we going to have it dome? No, not like that. I like making it look like it's a fabric roof. I think that works out quite well. Something like that, perhaps. I could turn it to the other directions. I could have it even like that, but I don't like that one as much. I would like it Yeah, I think that that works a little bit better for me. Having it reaching across like that. Or does it? Let's just put it back the other way. I'll just have a quick consideration. No, actually. In fact, I think it looks a little bit better running that way. Okay, well that's fine. We're going to have a different colour on top though. We're not going to be going with the blues this time. So I think we'll actually be going with the greens this time. So let's grab a nice bright green for the very edge, like so. And we'll just paint this in. We'll be maybe using a completely different green for the black marks there, or the brown marks, I guess. But I think having a bit of a sage roof will be actually quite lovely. There we go. And then we'll just paint this in just regular sage. Well, no, we'll go straight for dark sage, I think. There we go. That creates a nice effect for me, and it is auto-saving. Is this going to mess up? We will see in a moment. No, it remembered what I was doing. I am actually a little bit surprised. Well done, you. There we go. And that's it. Now, I know I haven't cut out as much as I would normally. I do apologize for that, because it has been quite a lot to wash up. But look at this beautiful building we've got now. Everyone here is going to want to live in this building. This could even be a barracks. No, it's not going to be a barracks. This is for my workers. The workers who are the heart pumping in our empire. Pushing all of the blood around, all of our loots into the boxes and into the crafters. The crafters are our muscles. And the military, well, actually, no, the military would probably be our muscles. I don't know. The crafters definitely an organ, though. But the workers, they are the heart. They are the heart of our empire. Beating. And all of the resources are the blood. Look, the analogy makes sense in my brain. The brain is barely working, though, so I don't know. Maybe you're right. But that is going to be it. So I think that's good enough. We're going to save the workers' hut. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't, again, I will fix this off camera. But let's put this down. 20 clay, 9 stone. 9 stone for this entire building, my lord. 9 wood, and 68. What on earth? Oh, the fences, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Bomb. Let's have a look. Is it going to break the game? Is the game breaking? It's thinking. It's thinking super duper hard. And pause it. Huh? It worked. How? How did that? But this is like on an order of magnitude more complicated than that wall was. Oh my lord, game, I don't understand you sometimes. You're confusing. But I'm very, very thankful that you didn't break. Super thankful, in fact. Thank you. I appreciate it deeply. Deeply appreciate it. Let's pop this down just in case, because that might actually also help. There we go. Plenty of ladders there. That should get that little bit built up for us. But that is going to be the end of this episode. I'm so sorry that it took me a few days to get this one out to you. I hope you enjoyed, though. And I hope to see plenty of comments down below on the design. If there's anything you have a query on or suggestions on how we could decorate it on the inside, perhaps with the lamps, or maybe even we could go for a bit more candly. We'll see. And yes, I didn't finish off the fencing along the balcony for a reason that we will get to maybe in the next episode, or the next 4 episodes, depending on how long it takes to build this. But that's going to be it from me. So thank you again very much for joining me. I hope to see you in the next episode. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.